Hi, my name is Dr. Stuart Squires. I'm a professor at St. John's Seminary. We are the seminary for the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. I'm thrilled to announce that New City Press and Focolare Media have just published my new book, You Will Be Changed Into Me, The Fruits of the Eucharist. While many other books explore the question, what is the Eucharist? This book explores the equally important question, what does the Eucharist do? This is the second of 6 videos in which I would like to share with you 6 of the most important fruits or effects of the Eucharist. Today I'd like to share with you the Catholic understanding of the Eucharist as sacrifice. Jesus died on the cross for the sins of humanity. Although this undoubtedly is a fundamental Christian claim, on the surface it makes little sense. If aliens were to come down from outer space and hear this statement, would they make any obvious connection between the execution of an obscure rabbi and the expiation of all human sins? Why did Jesus die? Why on a cross? What does his death have to do with the sins of humanity? The short answer to these questions is that his death on the cross was a sacrifice. This too would make little sense to these extraterrestrials because understanding fully what sacrifice means requires knowledge of the first century Jewish context of sacrifice, temple, and priesthood. So what does it mean to say Jesus' death was sacrificial, and what does that have to do with the Eucharist? For the Israelites in the Old Testament, sacrifice had multiple layers of meaning. First, it is an acknowledgement that God is Lord over all creation. This recognition occurs when part of what already belongs to God is offered in return. Second, it was an act of thanksgiving. Third, it was the primary way that God and Israel established covenants, permanent agreements establishing a relationship between two people or two groups of people. The most important sacrifice in Jewish life was and is the sacrifice of the Passover lambs before the Israelites fled Egypt, and the yearly commemoration of that pivotal moment in the life of the Israelite community. The earliest followers of Jesus recognized and described the connections between sacrifice and, as John the Baptist called him, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. The Gospel of John is one of the most important texts for understanding Jesus as a sacrificial victim. Just before he was crucified, Jesus was brought to Pilate when it was preparation day for Passover, and it was about noon, which is significant because at the same time, on the same day of the crucifixion, the priests at the temple were beginning to slaughter the lambs for the Passover feast. During the Passover sacrifice, priests at the temple first would drain the lamb of its blood and then pierce the lamb's shoulders with a wooden stave in order to suspend and skin it, echoing what happened to Jesus on the cross. When Catholics receive the Eucharist, the true, real, and substantial presence of the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ, we receive fully the fruits of his sacrifice on the cross. This is possible, as we discussed at length in the previous video, because at the Last Supper, Jesus commanded his followers, "Do this in memory of me." The Eucharist, therefore, makes his sacrifice on the cross present and accessible to us today.